So my name is Matthew Lindblad. I'm a senior creative producer at the Honda Center, Anaheim Ducks, and then also a $4 billion with a B dollar entertainment district that we're building in Anaheim called OC Vibe. So they brought me in from Disney and Knott's Berry Farm, and they said, "Hey, come create for us. We got this 8-year project. Like, come create content." And this is kind of the start of it. So I started in April. A little bit about my story. It was pretty wild. So I was working in operations at Disney and miserable. Like, Disney is the creative epitome of basically the whole industry, in my opinion. Big Disney fan. But I was sitting there in operations with all these skills that I knew God had gifted me with that I wasn't using. And it was torture. I was sitting there torturing myself going, hey, this job's kind of lucrative. I guess I'll just sit in it. And I just kept feeling like God was going, no, dude, get out of your comfort zone and go use the skills that I gave you. So today I'm going to talk a little bit. Here's my slide. Aline had it all set up. This is a comma. All right, that's what it looks like. I have a master's degree, and this is what I learned. No, just kidding. No, so the comma. So because today we're talking about the creative process. This I created on the drive here, and it's going to explain a little bit about my talk, but I went, wait a second. This is actually a calling. God's saying, creative, why don't you process? And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm going, I'm not taking the time to actually really sit in my creativity, in my skill set, utilize that to the best of my ability. And so about a year ago, I quit my job at Disney, had no backup plan, which is terrifying in Southern California, and just really grasped that by the by the collar and said, all right, God, let's see what you got. Which is also, I don't suggest for everyone, don't quit your day job, don't, but I sat for a year job searching, hundreds and hundreds of applications, then got an offer from a church for more money than I had ever made in my life. And I was sitting there, I'm like, I think this is it. And I had a bunch of pastors call me up from that church that I've been going to for 10 years, and they're like, do not take this job. You are supposed to be in the creative industry outside of the church. Go use your skills for his good outside the church in the dark places. So I landed at Anaheim Ducks. And our darkness is we lose a lot. So I'm dealing with that. But I promise you this isn't a stand-up set. This is just how I am. So so the first challenge was this Mask On campaign. So we're in the middle of a campaign right now called Orange Country. So the idea is you're entering Orange Country. My challenge was to jump into this new Mask On campaign. And I said, okay, we're telling people what Orange Country is. It's like, we're diehard hockey fans, in that kind of voice. We hit the ice and we beat people up and whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. You're just talking at the fans. Like, what does it look like to be a fan? How do you become activated as a fan, as a member of Orange Country, if you will? And so I came up with this campaign. It's been super fun. The whole idea kind of stemmed from V for Vendetta a bit, kind of stemmed from the worlds that I found myself in. I was a touring musician, happened to have a lot of tattoos. You see the tattoo shop, and those sorts of things. And I realized that I don't know crap about hockey. I grew up in Toronto, Canada, Minneapolis, Minnesota, like I probably should. I feel like a poser. But I realized that I have something else to offer. I know a lot about the Orange County community. It's kind of gritty. There's a ton of skateboarding. So we did a collaboration with Vans Shoes. We put out 3 Vans shoes and won 5 Clios, which is a big marketing, oh, cool, Clio. So won a bunch of those for our campaigns there. You see tattoo shops, so we dip into that. So I just realized, what is it that really sits with the fan base and the community? And so we came up with this. So I'm gonna be honest, there is no process for me. It is that, hey, God's saying, creative, sit and process. All my ideas come to me in the shower, on a drive. Is there anyone else like that? It's yeah. And have you noticed that it's not, creativity doesn't come to you when you're oh, Kenneth posted a funny meme. That's awesome. Daniel's got a new book. Daniel's got a new book. Like, I love that stuff, but how many people are just like so creatively inspired by this thing? That's what I'm saying. So there's this quote that stuck with me, and each day I'm kind of coming into the realization of it. It says, show me the way you avoid stillness, and I'll show you how you're ruining your life. And yes, absolutely. Show me the way you avoid stillness, and I'll show you the way you're ruining your life. And so for me as a creative, that's the biggest thing I sit with. It's creating those moments where you can really, for me, it's not this way for everyone at my company, but for me, it's sitting in those moments where God's just saying, just sit and breathe. Like, this stuff will come to you. It's not the planning, it's not the lists. I'm a producer, so and ADHD, so like lists are my thing. It's not those moments where creativity hits and those breakthrough moments happen. It's really in those moments where you create room for God, but also just for yourself. Like, you turn off the noise. Maybe it is a drive. Like, just take a 30-minute drive and see kind of what comes to you. So as I kind of wrap up here, I just want you to take that away. I was supposed to talk about my bullet point list of the creative process, and really there isn't a way to hack it. You can make all the plans in the world, but like, honestly, I don't find creativity in sitting down and just like lists and planning and all that stuff. I think really like sitting in the creativity, sitting in those moments where God can say, creative, process. Like, this is where it comes from. It's not from the notes that I made on the way here. Like, this, it's really in those moments. So I just encourage you all as you go out, like, carve out this time. I mean, like, you will find inspiration on Instagram sometimes. You will, like Eileen's videos of her dancing and scripting these cool dances, like, that's inspiring. You'll find those moments, but majority of my creativity at Disney, at Knott's Berry Farm, at Honda Center, at all these projects comes from sitting in it. So I ask you, take that with you. Whatever that means for you, run with it. So thank you so much.